So Pro Bowl's in the books. As
Who would
as
know?
as we predicted, the AFC did come out on top. Brandon Marshall, I appreciate he had the 4 touchdowns
Yeah,
and
four
apparently had a great
touchdowns.
day.
Really good day. I
And
mean, anytime you catch four
and I didn't know if
touchdowns.
you wanted to mention Cam's great
Oh,
performance.
I mean, I didn't watch because I have a life. So, but I found out afterwards that Cam Newton had a pretty terrible game.
That's what I
Threw
heard
two
too.
interceptions. He was like 7 for 21, some 29. Just horrible, horrible numbers that I adore. I hate Cam Newton. I'll never be shy in saying that.
Apparently, if the
He's a
system,
he
even
has no
even if he
soul.
plays with all stars, he's not good enough.
Yep, and I love seeing him fail.
Oh
So
yeah, absolutely. And
that's my rant of the night.
while we're on the NFC South, let's stay in the South and talk about the
Okay.
big announcement since last show.
Yeah. Bucks hired Rutgers head coach Greg Schiano. Thoughts?
I'm
A lot
very
of people
happy at
don't like it.
this. I mean, it took me a second to figure out A, where
It
Rutgers
took me a
was,
long time to
and then
figure
and
out.
then B, to figure out who he was. But between
Yeah.
sending all the stuff back and forth, I'm very happy about
Yeah.
this because he is also well connected,
Very well
which is
connected.
something we'll get to in a
Yep.
minute.
68, 67, and 11 seasons at Rutgers. A lot of people, that's barely just over a 500
Yeah, but
record.
he only had like one or two bad years.
Exactly.
The
He
other nine were pluses.
he had to build that from when they almost won no games a year. They
Yep.
were one of the worst, franchises in sports on any level.
Yep.
So he built that team to relevance at least,
Oh,
and
exactly.
so Tampa has clearly aspirations of being
I
built a
mean,
little higher.
and just a couple years ago, actually, he turned out Devin McCourty, who we'll
Yep.
get into in a
Oh,
minute.
he's turned out several NFL
But
stars.
that's the one in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So
Yep. And we'll also talk about possible defensive coordinator position target for the Bucks.
the number one name coming up right now
Is
is
Butch Davis. A lot of people know him as the head coach of North Carolina, who was recently fired for tons and tons and tons of recruiting violations.
it's okay because if it's illegal in college, the NFL
Allows it. I
absolutely
have
loves you to do it.
I have no problem with moral character or lack
That
thereof.
means we will get the players we need.
Yep, and it'll be nice. But that's just speculation right now,
Exactly.
rumors. We have no authenticity behind an
Right.
actual conversation. We don't know
But
if they're talking. We don't
but
know.
that's the number one name coming up right
We
now.
just
I'm not
hear
even hearing
that
anybody
as
else
a
mentioned.
likely possible target, and Peter King, Sports Illustrated, actually reported that Shiano has said that he wants or has targeted Butch Davis, and that's our Bucks segment for the night.
Definitely.
So if you got through that, because I know everybody hates the Bucks, uh,
I think we're the only two in the state that
yeah,
don't.
we're just reporting the news and we're wearing the jerseys.
Exactly. We got to rep when we can because when it's Super Bowl time, we usually don't get to wear these.
Yeah, ever. We have to hide in shame.
Exactly.
So we're wearing them proudly tonight. Plus, when these two idiots over here hired a new head coach at Ohio State, we had to sit through them wearing sweater vests through the episode. So if they can wear what they want when they hire a
Those were
coach,
matching. I
we
guess
can wear
Goodwill
what
had
we
a
want.
sale that day.
I guess so.
But as what will be a first that I can think of on this show, there's actually about to be a slight moment of silence as we
There will be.
somewhat grieve for the Giants' loss coming up, and maybe even the possible fact that we may never see Peyton on a uniform again. But we kind of have to change.
Go for it.
So let's just get these out. So that we're wearing
Winners.
winning jerseys now. Definitely have to rep those.
Since
And
this is our show for
and
tonight,
since I'm Welker for the night, I do have to congratulate Wes Welker on getting engaged to Miss Hooters International 2006 or 2007. It could be 2008 even, but
awesome.
congratulations, Wes.
Definitely.
And I'm sure she looks forward to helping you spend that new contract you're going to get after the
Hey,
Super Bowl.
you're not kidding. We're going to talk first about the Patriots offense in the Super
Definitely.
Bowl. I'm going to focus on a key matchup, and I'm going to tell you why the Patriots are going to be better suited to beat the Giants this year than they were in 2007. First off, my key matchup, and this is going to lead right into the next one. I'm going to have a kind of a short segment, but it's really, really simple. Uh, is the offensive line of the Patriots versus the defensive line of the Giants. And I know people are like, the Giants have so many weapons on defense on their defensive line, and the Patriots have so many weapons on just offense in general.
Oh, absolutely.
Why would I pick the offensive line of the Patriots to win the Super Bowl? Because I'm gonna say that you remember 2007, how
Hmm.
how the Giants beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl was they got to Tom Brady.
Exactly.
They destroyed Tom Brady, hit him, sacked him all night long. Michael Strahan and almost the same defensive line,
It's pretty similar.
minus Strahan, rocked Brady's world. And I think this is my theory on this that it's not going to be the same this year because in 2007 they didn't have receivers to go over the middle and
It's
short
very
pass,
true.
and their real long threat was Randy Moss, who never got open. That was their weapon. They lived and died by Randy Moss, and they lived quite well by Randy Moss.
Definitely.
But in the Super Bowl, whose jersey I'm actually
Yeah.
rocking,
I was about to say,
uh,
as you're rocking the Moss jersey,
uh, but I actually think not that this is any diss on Randy Moss because he's one of the best that will ever play at his position,
absolutely.
but I think that the lack of Randy Moss and the dissolution of that deep threat has actually helped the Patriots because now we've got this new guy called Rob Gronkowski and this other new guy called Aaron Hernandez as tight ends, and they have been lighting it up over the middle all season long. Gronkowski has 17 touchdowns. I
Which
mean,
is,
for a tight end, this is we're talking a
I
tight
mean,
end.
think of some of the best tight ends in the game. I mean, even Shannon Sharp,
I mean,
uh,
never got close to
Gonzalez,
17
they never
touchdowns.
had 17.
This guy is just a beast, and there's a lot of speculation right now whether he'll play or not. He Everything is indicating right now. All we've heard is that he is going to play, and it seems the closer we get, the more and more it seems that we are indeed going to be seeing Rob Gronkowski. And I think if they can get Gronkowski open over the middle, they don't have to wait for Moss to get open deep because they're not
Exactly.
worried about deep threats. That it doesn't give the Giants time to pressure Brady.
Well,
You,
instead of Moss, it's actually Ocho,
it's
but
well, that's what
he
we're
is
we're
their
going to talk
deep
about.
threat.
We're going to talk about. But I think definitely if Brady can get rid of the ball quickly to Hernandez and Gronkowski, the Giants won't be able to get to Tom Brady. If you can't get to Tom Brady, you cannot beat the Patriots.
No,
Period. Exclamation mark. End of story. End of conversation.
as we've said all year long, Brady put up Drew Brees like numbers
Brady
with
will
no
beat you
deep
every
threat.
time. I don't
Drew
care.
Brees has two deep
You
threats.
could have an all NFL team up defense, the best players in NFL history, and if you can't pressure Tom Brady, he'll beat them every time.
So if you hear that, creators of Madden, we'd love to see that
We
matchup.
would love to see that matchup. Uh, Also, there are theories, and that doesn't necessarily put me in this uh, ballpark, that the Patriots have been holding Ocho Cinco back all year long. I'm serious.
Did you get this from the Ocho Cinco
I did
network?
not get this
Okay, we
to
just have
unleash
to
him,
verify that.
unleash,
Yeah,
quote unquote, him in the Super Bowl on
I
an
mean
unsuspecting giant.
it it would be a Trojan horse and a half
It
if it was.
Certainly it would be an amazing ploy. But my question is, you've needed him long before this. Why would you? You cannot guarantee that you're going to get to the Super Bowl. Why would you bank on one of
Exactly.
your players just But I have to. I mean, I'm gonna report it because it's certainly possible that we could see a lot more Ocho Cinco in this game. Ocho Cinco and Wes Welker. If the Giants decide to focus on Gronkowski and Hernandez, look to see a lot of Welker and Ocho Cinco and change it up. And I just
And it's interesting that you pick him because I picked another guy who once I mentioned him and all that he does for the Patriots, I actually think he's going to be the secret weapon. But it could actually be both of these guys because they're kind of under the radar,
definitely,
even though they have the numbers.
definitely. But I definitely think that the Patriots offense is more suited than certainly the Giants offense to lead them to victory in the Super Bowl.
Oh, definitely.
So
I think they're
that's my case for why the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl.
definitely. But if you look at the defensive side, I'm not disagreeing at all because I do think if Tom Brady has more than 2 seconds to decide, it's
It's
over.
over.
But when you're looking at the defense, the way they set up their Belichick sets up this defense, because he is a defensive guy, even though he's got more offensive as time's progressed. He sits in on the meetings and stuff now and more decisions. You got to look at the fact that their entire line between Sean Ellis, Vince Wilfork, Kyle Love, Mark Anderson, they're all big, tall, rough guys. They're middle of the road as far as being between veterans and newcomers. But you got former Jets. Kyle Love's actually from down the road, Fairburn. These guys, the Belichick system is not about the front four getting sacks. It's about plugging the holes so the
Exactly.
linebackers can come in.
Exactly.
It's actually called the Fairbanks Bulla 3-4 system, where, like I said, the linemen cover the gaps, and that's pretty much they're supposed to keep them at bay, which I think they can do. Looking at the front
Yeah,
line here,
certainly.
I mean, I really don't think Deal or Boss or Snee are even going to have anything for them. But then you get into those fast linebackers, which was something that really started back when the Colts did it a couple years ago with the small, fast guys, the Rob Ninkovich, the Gerard Mayo, the Brandon Spikes. These guys had high tackle totals and only a couple interceptions, a couple. They're putting the pressure on them where they're making them make bad plays. But the problem with the Patriots is their third line, as I call them.
Hmm.
It's the cornerbacks, it's the
The
safeties.
secondary.
That's where they're giving up the big points, and these guys aren't really putting up big numbers except for Arrington, who had the seven
Yep,
picks. But for the most part, it's a very Buck style defense.
it is.
They very much are more about containment. They are very physical and very disciplined, and they try to not be overly mobile, and they really don't take a lot of risks.
They understand quality control.
They're very, I guess they're very mature in their
Yeah,
decisions. They almost wait for you to make the mistake.
and let's be honest, they've really emerged as maybe a stronger defensive unit than we thought in this postseason.
It's it's
Granted, they've played the Broncos.
it's almost like they were sandbagging us throughout the
Yeah,
season.
and the great Belichick holding Ocho
Definitely,
Cinco back and making his defense terrible to all the way to get to the Super Bowl to unleash the team that we didn't know was there.
definitely. But I am actually gonna say that the matchup that's gonna mean the most to me is the right tackle, Kareem McKenzie of the Giants, and Sean Ellis, the defensive end, because I think you got to give Sean Ellis a little bit more credit that he may actually get into the backfield and come after Eli. And the same reason they moved Michael Oher to the other
Hmm.
side in Baltimore, blindside is not the problem anymore. It's getting hit front side. Eli's taken a lot of hits from the front. It's came
Yep,
from the right tackle position,
yep.
which is exactly where Ellis is
Where
going to
the
be coming from.
Patriots will get you.
Absolutely. And they're going to send all their backers in from that side. I think that's going to be the matchup to watch. If McKenzie can keep him under wraps, then the Patriots will have to swap up and do something
Just
different.
a real quick stat that Bill Belichick in his career has never lost to one team three consecutive times.
Ouch.
So, and they've lost twice,
Yep.
two consecutive games to the Giants. So, Giants fans. Also, in the '08 season when they played in the Super Bowl, when the Patriots were undefeated to the Super Bowl, the Patriots actually beat the Giants in the regular season
The
and
last game of the
lost
year,
in the Super Bowl
wasn't it? Or the week
week before, I believe.
16,
And
I
this
believe.
year, the Giants beat the Patriots in the regular season, so we could
Yep.
see an exact replay of vice versa in the Super Bowl.
Yep. And before I get into the wild card of the team, the game breaker, I think we do have to mention real quick Stephen Gostowski
Yeah,
being the kicker. I mean, he took over for Vinatieri and a lot of
and has been
people
money
who
ever
have
since.
been, like you're saying, they've been the top guys who put the Patriots in these positions, and for them to go with a younger guy all of a sudden, he had to be good, and he's been
He's been
ridiculous.
awesome.
And then just to get my Michigan reference out of the way, Zoltan Mesko has actually been one of the more decent punters, which on the Patriots you don't have to punt so much, but it's important when you do.
Well, I'm not sure there's a Georgia player on either team, so
Probably not, but that's nothing
I'll look
personal.
that up. We'll get back to you, Georgia fans.
But Georgia usually doesn't have a lot of picks that go to these two teams either.
No,
But their kick returners, they only list Slater and Edelman as their main kick and
Edelman will
punt
be their
returners.
number one
But
go-to guy.
Wes Welker catches quite a few balls back there too,
Yeah,
as a different look. But to me, I just said his name. Julian Edelman is going to be the game breaker, possibly MVP,
plays offense, defense, and
because
special teams.
he's listed as a wide receiver, but he's also played cornerback. He's also the punt returner. He's also the kick returner. And
He was
in
drafted out
Belichick,
of college as a quarterback.
exactly. And even better, his fifth position, the last four were not named. The fifth position, he's been a linebacker this year.
Yep,
He's
he
come
has.
out. He's so
He's
athletic
done everything.
that he plays every position. So he's either going to make the catch, or he's going to make the pass defense, or he's going to return a kick, or maybe he's going to do all of them. But this
So
guy
look
is
out
just
for
smoking
Julian
fast.
Edelman as your Super
Yep.
Bowl
I,
MVP.
I I would almost say that he's going to be MVP, or he's going to at least be the reason they're going to win.
Well, I'm gonna go on a much larger limb. I'm gonna go on Rob Gronkowski as my Super Bowl MVP. Real quick, give me a Super Bowl final.
Final score, I still think it's going to be pretty high up there, but
I agree.
let's say I want to go too high. Let's say 35-28.
Okay,
I
I'm
think it's going to be
actually
a one score.
actually was your winner.
Patriots all the
Okay,
way. AFC is, even though we're NFC guys, AFC is going to take
I'm
this one.
actually gonna go a little bit higher than you. I'm gonna go
I was considering it.
41-35 Patriots. That's my final.
I was thinking 42, but
Well,
30. I think there are going to be some stops in this game. So,
definitely. But we're I think in the end we'll definitely get up there in the score.
oh, definitely. And this is going to be a game to watch for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Not just the media hype that's going on, but you're going to see two of the elite quarterbacks going head to head, two of the better defenses in the playoffs going head to head, and two of the better coaches in the league going head to head. And a lot
It
of
doesn't
these
get any
guys
better
you
than
you
that.
may never see again.
The Super Bowl is supposed to be between the best two teams, and I think it's largely successful in doing that this year.
I think they did a good job with the matchup.
Definitely.
But that's actually going to do it for us.
That is it.
And you guys stay tuned for the NFC show where
Definitely.
they're going to try to convince you the Giants are going to win.
And don't listen to them.
We'll see you next week.
Go Patriots.